Yo, RX back with another breakdown of UFC Vegas 72 Song versus Simón. We back with another Apex Fight Night in a row. This one on paper is a lot. This one on paper is a lot weaker than last week's, but last week's card was very underwhelming, so this one could easily be better in delivery. And I wouldn't be shocked if it was. There's a couple dud fights, but overall I think it's a pretty subpar card, and it's severely carried by Ricky and Song, so take that as you will. But overall I think the card is still okay. Couple gems at least I'm looking forward to, and I think it could be a decent card. It needs to be, because if we're going into 288, which is a pretty weak pay-per-view, and coming off two pretty weak fight nights, we need something pretty good, and hopefully this card is the lead into 288, because since 287 we've been pretty weak, so let's see what we can do. So enough talking about it like third person. Let's dive right in. Did that make any sense? No. So enough said about the card. Let's talk about the fights on the card. So before I do that, please like, comment, sub, 100 subs goal by the end of the year. And as always, you want to talk about some fights? We have 11 fights. We've lost a couple fights. We had a couple replacements. The big fights we've lost are Armin, who was meant to be the main event. Cody and Padilla. That was a great fight. Levy and Pete Rodriguez we lost a couple days ago to the card in Charlotte. But we've lost guys like Brian Kelleher off the card, but we got replacements for him. So overall we've not lost much. The card is still pretty much what it was at its full strength, but maybe a little different, and maybe for the better on a fight or two. So let's talk about let's start this off with the first prelim of the night, which I have very hot. I got a good amount of doubt if it even actually happened. You'll see why in a second, because we start off the card with All Hail Hailey Cowan versus Jamey-Lyn Horth. Yeah, you see why I have doubt. It's a Hailey Cowan fight, and she's starting to turn into the female Alekseeva, where she gets fights booked, she doesn't fight. This is her third booked fight this year. She missed weight and had to pull out the Alina Perez fight. I forget why the Vidal fight got cancelled. I think it was because of Vidal, I believe, and now we get this one. So third time's a charm. And speaking of Hailey Cowan, let's talk about her for the third time. This is the third fucking time I broke down a fight of hers, and she's hasn't fought yet. Jesus. So I'll pretty much say the same shit I have already. I don't think she should have been signed off for Contender Series performance. A split decision win and a performance that wasn't that good. I would have gave her another Contender Series fight or sent her back to the regional scene, because she's not very good. I don't think, yeah, she beat Claudia Leite, but how good is Claudia Leite? And again, by split decision. And one big red flag on her record, if you look at her one loss on her record, or one of her two losses, it says someone who's 1-2. And her first MMA fight and loss was to Victoria Leonardo. So yeah, not the best person to be losing to, but what can you do? Yeah, I don't think she's that good, and yeah, is this probably the weakest competition out of her 3 debut fights? Yes, but still, I was not impressed by Hailey. Can she prove me wrong? Yes. But she doesn't need to do a lot, because I'm just not impressed. She showed me very little on Contender Series besides, yeah, she could win a fight, but not impressively. And again, split decision. Why did you really sign her, Dana? And no one can even make the joke you're thinking, because Wow. Yeah. Overall, I'm just not impressed with Hailey Cowan, and I really don't think she's UFC level. I think she'd be better off getting another fight on Contender Series or something along those lines. But what can you do? Here she is. To talk about her opponent a little bit, because I've really never seen Horth fight, but I have seen her on a tap a couple times, and she was in LFA, so big promotion to be in. She's okay from what I've heard, and she's undefeated. She got a win over Lupita Godinez in the amateur twice. And she's on a 5-fight winning streak. Yeah, she's been off for 2 years almost, about a year and a half. Her last fight was in December 2021. Not great. And the people she's beating, the best opponent she beat was 9-3-1, which ain't really that great, but it was a main event. And she was scheduled in December 2022 to fight Sabina Mazo, but that fight didn't happen. Yeah, she's decent from what I've heard and a little I've seen. Her striking's alright. Her grappling's fine. She could be a nice add to the division. Cause the red flags are she's only had 5 pro fights. She's 33 years old already. She's been off for a year and a half. And this ain't even a short notice fight. This was completely booked a while ago. So UFC must have had their eye on her for a minute, because again, this was not short notice as I know of. So I'm intrigued. Could be a nice new add to the roster. Just 33 years old. That's the scary part about it. So the betting odds for this fight are completely even at 110 apiece. I don't agree. Until Hailey shows something, I cannot fucking have her she has to be an underdog. In my opinion, I would have Jamey about minus 130, 140. Yeah, she's less experienced. Yeah, she's been off for a long time. But I guarantee you, her last performances have been more impressive than Hailey's, and she's not. And Horth ain't losing to 1 and 2 fighters. So until I see something from Hailey impressive, I cannot pick her, and I cannot pick I cannot fucking pick her I cannot make her favorite. So who am I going with in this fight? I'm going with Jamey-Lyn Horth. I think she will be able to get a win here. If it's on the feet, she's probably the better striker. If it's on the ground, she's probably the better grappler. The only thing Hailey really has over her is she probably might be stronger, but how long does that last? And is that even true? This is Jamey's last fight was at 125, so this is she is going up to 35 for this fight. I don't know for the first time or not, but she is going up to 35 for this fight, and she will be a little smaller. She will be an inch shorter and have a 2-inch reach disadvantage. So, and she is 2 years older. So, but I am going Jamey in this fight. I think she'll be able to walk away with a win here. Could I be shocked at a split decision, a close fight, or a complete robbery? No, I don't see a finish in this fight. So I'm worried about judging, because WMMA judging is stupid, and let alone a fight like this that probably won't be one-sided. I doubt, even with me thinking Hailey ain't that good, I doubt it's gonna be super one-sided. But overall, I do think Jamey's gonna get the win here, and I am going Jamey-Lyn Horth by decision. Well, after that we move on to another debuting fighter, and speaking of Brian Kelleher pulling out, we have the guy who replaced him, as we have in our second bout of the night, Journey Newson versus Marcus the Maniac McGhee. Marcus is stepping in for Brian Kelleher, who pulled out on Wednesday. So short notice, showing up, and it's gonna be at a 140 catch weight, not at 135 like Newsom's original fight was meant to be. So, but enough about that. Let's talk about Journey Newson. Journey in the UFC had a not great run. He is 1-3-1. His one win is Fernie Garcia. His 3 losses are Ricardo Ramos Randy Costa and Sergey Morozov. And his one no contest is a no contest to D'Amico Pilate. I don't know why. Maybe something like Bobby Green's fight last week. I'm not sure. I'll look into that. Probably not. But yeah, I've never been impressed with Journey. Like in his losses, Morozov just showed Morozov was just the better fighter. Randy Costa just knocked him out. Ricardo Ramos, I don't remember that fight, but I'm guessing he was just better. Yeah, Journey beat Fernie Garcia, but Fernie Garcia is kind of shitty, to be honest. Like, Fernie Garcia ain't very good, and if I remember, that wasn't even like this great performance. So, like, yeah, he had to win as an underdog, and no one thought he was gonna win, but Fernie Garcia, I don't know, I've never been impressed with Journey. Like, yeah, is he losing the guys he should be losing to? Yeah, Morozov and Ramos. In hindsight, Randy Costa, he should probably be beating, but I guess, and at 2020, Costa was so decent. But overall, yeah, Journey kind of need this win at the same time, because if he loses this, his UFC record's 1-4-1. If his contract runs out, he's fucked. If he, I don't know, it's such a weird, he's in a weird spot, because, like, if he loses, what do you do? So, he might be fighting for the job, to be honest, because, like I said, he loses this in his last 5, he is 1-3-1. Yeah, I don't know, Journey, he's an okay fighter, but he's just never been impressive. Like, he'll beat a guy like Fernie Garcia, but he has no chance against guys like Morozov, Ramos. So, simple as that, man. Not much to it. To talk about Marcus McGhee as little as possible, because I didn't know that he was even a real human until I saw he stepped in. He is coming from the MMA Lab, which is known for really good strikers like Sean O'Malley, Kyler Phillips. And he's coming off a 2-fight winning streak. All of his wins are first round knockouts, and even his one loss is a first round submission. So he does not go late. That could be a big problem, as we see with Jacqueline Amorim a couple weeks back. If you never go to the second, if you never go past the first, how are you gonna look when you finally do? Cause you're not Francis Ngannou. So. But yeah, my bad. All of his wins are by knockout. He has finishes late, but still, most of his fights don't go long. And the one fight that did go into the third, he got the knockout in 24 seconds. So I'm guessing he's a really good striker. Like I said, that's what I've heard. And he again comes from the Lab, a great camp to be coming from. He could be good. I'm intrigued. He's high on himself. I saw him make a tweet. I saw him say something like he's gonna be a champion. I doubt it, but good. Cool that he has the passion and he believes in himself. And he's 32 years old, which is not great to be coming into UFC, especially having a very small record. But overall, could be good for him. Not taking much damage going into this. He definitely is the less damaged fighter coming into this compared to Journey, so we'll see. Can he continue his only finishes streak, winning or losing? So, gonna be an interesting one. I think this is gonna be I like this fight more than Keller, only because I think Keller was just gonna completely school Journey for 15 minutes. Now I think Journey has the chance at winning, but also he actually has a chance of getting finished, which again, I don't think Collier was going to finish him. So, I like this replacement, and let me check I'm pretty sure Journey is the favorite. Sorry about that. Last time I checked, I'm pretty sure Journey is the favorite. Somehow, I don't know why. Because they're not on Tapology. Journey Newson is about minus 190, almost 200. I don't get it. Like, if you want the Journey should be the favorite, I actually do understand that, but no way 200. I'd have Journey probably minus 150 for you. Like, I get why he's a favorite, but I don't know, it should be almost 200. So, especially, yeah, if you're saying he should be a huge favorite because Marcus is coming in on no camp, Journey's had no time to train for Marcus. And I guarantee you, Marcus fights nothing like Brian Kelleher. So that's thinking. Overall, could be a good fight. And who am I going with? I'm going with Marcus McGhee. I think he's gonna be able. I think he's gonna go in there with nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I think he's gonna gain a knockout in the first. I think he cracks Journey's chin like Randy Costa and walks away for W. Could I see Journey surviving and just making it a boring fight that he wins by decision? Yes. But I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope we get a fun knockout here, though. I am going Marcus McGhee by knockout in the first. Make a statement, bruh. Make a statement. Here's to a banger. After that, we got our third debuting fighter in the blue corner in a row. Jesus, what was debut night? And a second debuting female fighter, which is even more rare. But we have Stephanie Egger versus Irina Russian Ronda Alekseeva. Okay. This one is I'm a lot more intrigued in this one than I am with the Horth fight. And, yeah, I think it's a way better fight. But let's talk about Stephanie Egger first. Egger in the UFC is 3-2. Her 3 wins: Shanna Young, Jessica Rose Clark, and Aline Perez. And her 2 losses are Tracy Cortez and Mayra Bueno Silva. Yeah, pretty much Egger comes down to if she can get you to the ground and be the better ground fighter, she's gonna win. Because her 2 losses were mainly because of the ground, and she was not the better ground fighter. Yeah, she's not a bad fighter at all. Her striking ain't really much to write home about, but her ground game is of course where it's at. If you look at her 3 wins, Shanna Young, she was dominated. Jessica Rose Clark, she really didn't have to do much shit that win, because Clark for some reason shot in on her and got her arm taken. And then Aline Perez, kind of the same thing, and more annoying with Aline. Unless I forget that fight, Aline was the better striker, and if she would have kept it on the feet, she probably would have knocked Egger out or beat her. But for some reason, Aline wanted to wrestle, and that fucked her completely. And then if you look at Egger's 2 losses, Tracy Cortez is a great fighter and is just fucking dogged her. And Bueno Silva is really good, and it was that weird submission where the judge had to confirm it was a submission because the ref didn't see. But still, Egger comes down to this: if she is the better grappler against you, you're probably gonna lose. Like, even if you're a really good striker, you gotta stop her takedown. Which we really haven't seen her against someone who's a really good striker but not a good grappler. Like, it would be interesting to see her versus a Norm Dumont, I guess, would be someone like Norm Dumont. Someone who's a really good striker, but her grappling is not much. Like, I think that'd be interesting, because we've never really seen, like, the best striker Egger has fought is probably Jessica Rose Clark. So, yeah. I think Egger's okay. She's just good enough to win fights, and she's not bad enough to get cut, if that makes sense. She's like the most mid-tier fighter ever, and she's a bantamweight, so she's gonna be at low. There's very few people for her to fight who are unranked. It's literally Jessica Rose Clark, Aline Perez, Josie Noon. No, Josie's unranked. So I don't even know. Like, she has they gotta bring people in for the bantamweights to actually fight. So yeah, Egger's okay. You don't want to be on the ground with her, but if you are a better grappler than her, or as good, you could win. And to talk about her opponent, Irina Alekseeva, whose nickname is Russian Ronda, which I think is something to keep note. This might be one of those fights Edgar gets subbed. Irene is, of course, making her debut. Another fighter who's been off for about a year and a half for some reason. She's coming off a win in Bellator, but again, a year and a half almost. Even longer layoff than Horth. And from what I've heard, she's not really been that impressive. Like, she only has 2 finishes. One of them by armbar, the other one, I guess, just quitting, and then her 2 wins are by decision. And she did lose to an 8-6-2 fighter, so kind of Hailey Cowan style, losing to someone you probably should not be losing to. But she is young, kind of. She's how old? She's 32. Yeah, man, she's as old as fucking Marcus. So, yeah, do I get why they brought her in? No, I actually get why they brought in, Horth, but I don't really get the signing of Irene. Again, been off for a year, and this ain't a short notice fight either. This is signed and booked, so it's I'm kind of confused by this. Maybe Dana sees something in her, or Shelby or McMahon see something in her, but like, I don't know. Like, I think it's interesting. I think could be an interesting prospect. She's only had fucking 5 fights. This is gonna be her 6th fight. And but if she looks shitty, if she gets embarrassed in this fight, then what was the fucking point of signing her? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of confused, to be honest with you. But whatever. I could be stupid. But I'm guessing I'm not due to the betting odds, because the betting odds have Stephanie Egger minus 300 to plus 240. I understand it, but I don't think I'd have Edgar's 300. I'd probably have Edgar 200. Like, the favorite, yes, but I don't really see it at 300, because Irina's been off for a year and a half. If you're basing off her last performances, she's been off for a year and a half. She's probably got better. And again, with her nickname like Russian Ronda, I mean, she's a grappler. And what does Edgar struggle against? Besides, what has Edgar struggled against? People who could grapple with her. Bueno and Tracy Cortez. Not saying that Irene is as good as those two, because those two are actually pretty good. Just, I think there's kind of a pattern here with Edgar. So, I don't know. I think this fight's interesting, and it's either going to be a new signing getting embarrassed, or it's going to be a new signing making a lot of people look stupid for counting her out. So I'm intrigued, and who am I going with? I'm going from the 3rd debut win in a row on this card. I'm going Irina Alekseeva. Why? I don't know, to be honest. I just have a feeling that Edgar's gonna be on top, and Irene grabs an arm, or Irene reverses Edgar, gets on top, grabs an arm, or rear naked choke. So I just have a weird feeling, because again, Edgar struggled against grapplers, especially Irene's 2 inches taller, and Edgar is used to being the taller fighter, but in this fight she's gonna be shorter by 2 inches. She will still have the reach advantage, but against someone named Russian Ronda, how good is that? I don't know. I'm intrigued in this fight, but I am going Irina Alekseeva by submission in the 1st. I have a feeling, man. Underdog season. I have a weird feeling. Could I look back on this as one of my worst picks of the year? Yes. But do I think it's gonna be? I don't know. I'll keep you up. In my recap, I'll tell you. Because, and I'll say this, at the end of each year, the last 2 years, and I'll do it this year, I've made a tweet on Twitter showing my worst picks of the year. I won't be shocked if this joins the club, but at the same time, this could be one of my best picks of the year if this actually goes right. So it's kind of a high risk, high reward. So I'm going Irina Alekseeva by submission in the 1st. I think she'll be able to catch Edgar, man. I'm excited. I think these debuts are fun. It's better than the usual fighters we always see. And what if they're good fighters? What if they knock out? What if they beat 2 veterans and then Hailey Cowan? Would be interesting. Would be a lot of talk about this card. So I don't know. I'm gonna shut up now. Irina Alekseeva by submission first. After that, we move on to 2 fighters we actually know finally on this card, and we had 2 flyweight for a battle of interesting fighters. We have Cody Durden versus Charles Inner G Johnson. Good fight. I'm intrigued. I think these 2 are going to talk a lot of shit at face-offs and probably during the fight, so that's going to be fun. And let's talk about Cody Durden. I'm not going to talk about Cody Durden outside the cage, because I got nothing nice to say, don't say it. But I do got a little bit to say about him in the cage. He is 3-2-1 in the UFC. His 3 wins are Mongolian Murderer, JP Buys, and Carlos Mota. His 2 losses are Jimmy Flick and Muhammad Mukayev, and he has a draw with Chris Gutierrez. His wins, Mongolian Murderer, that's a good win, even though a lot of people say he probably didn't win that fight, but overall, good win. He did put up a good fight. Then he knocked out JP Buys, as you should. And then the last fight, a huge upset win against Carlos Mota. Carlos Mota's shitty though, so I don't know why I listen to people on that guy. He's fucking trash. Cody's 2 losses, a prime Jimmy Flick and Muhammad Mukayev. Can't get mad either. And then a draw with Chris Gutierrez is a great look. Like, that has aged amazingly. That has aged really well, shockingly. So you can't get mad at that. That's a great fucking thing to have on your record right now. Like, yeah, maybe before you lost to Pedro, but even after losing to Pedro, that's still a really good thing to have on your record. So yeah. Is Cody bad? No, but he's a simple fighter. I think he's just trying to get you to the ground. Yeah, he knocked out JP Buys. But again, all Cody's trying to do is just get you to the ground, outwork you, win decision, like he did to Mongolian Murderer, like he did against Carlos Mota. But he loses when he can't do that. Jimmy Flick, a better wrestler, destroyed him. Muhammad Mukayev, just a better fighter, destroyed him. So, like, he's not a bad fighter, but you can tell he's a level above shitty guys like JP Buys, but he's way under guys like Muhammad Mukayev. So he's not bad, but you're not really scared of his striking, and his wrestling is what you're scared of. So his gas tank's not bad either. He's not a bad fighter, sadly. I would love if he was a shitty fighter. It would be fun to laugh at him. But to talk about his opponent now, Charles Johnson, a guy, fine, I'll say I was wrong about. He's pretty good. Charles Johnson is actually pretty good. In the UFC, he is 2-2. His 2 wins, Zumagulov and Jimmy Flick. I'll talk about that in a second. His 2 losses, Muhammad Mukayev and Ode Osborne. I would say he is probably 2-2 in the UFC, but he lost to Mukayev and Zumagulov. He beat Flick and Osborne. And I picked Ode Osborne as an underdog in that fight, and I think Charles Johnson probably won that fight. Though I'll still say he is 2-2, and he's looked good. Like, every fight if you take away the Zugos fight, he's looked good, and he's the first fighter to 3 fights this year. So respect to him. Dude's just fighting. He might break Kevin Holland's record of fucking 5 if he keeps at this pace of not really taking damage. Actually, he took damage in the Ode fight, and he's still fighting 2 months later. Crazy motherfucker. Yeah, he's not a bad fighter. His striking is not bad. His ground game's good. He gives guys problems. He gave Muhammad problems, but again, I'll keep saying Caio fucks around more than he actually fights. He destroyed Jimmy Flick, and he gave Ode Osborne a fight, and again, I probably think he probably won that fight. Charles Johnson's good. So this is a battle between 2 decent flyweights. Cody is decent. Charles is, I think, pretty good. This is a good fight, man. I think it's a very good matchmaking. You got two dudes who are gonna talk shit. You got two dudes who are not terrible fighters. Neither of these guys are gonna be ranked or anything, but still, it's gonna be a good fight. And the betting odds have Charles Johnson minus 200 to plus 165. Yeah, yeah. Like, how to fucking look at it this way? Charles Johnson gave Muhammad Kaif way more of a fight than Cody did, and Charles Johnson destroyed Jimmy Flick, and that's who Cody lost to. So, let that sink in. And he finished Carlos Moda, something Cody could not. Yeah, this is a good fight. Who am I going with in this fight? I'm going with Charles Johnson. I think he gets the win here. He's just gonna be the better fighter. He's definitely a better striker, and I think he'll be able to hang with Cody on the ground, if not even be better. So I think Charles Johnson's gonna get the win here. Probably by decision. I don't remember. He's not gonna knock Cody out, and I don't see him subbing Cody. Could he? Probably, but I don't think he will. I think he's just gonna do his thing and get a decision win. I think this is gonna be a good performance. I think this is gonna be 15 minutes of Charles kind of showcasing some good things, because dude's kind of been iffy, but if he can stay consistent, he could easily be on a 3-5 winning streak if he wins this fight. So I want Charles Johnson to win this fight. I think he's just the better fighter. I think he'll get the win. So Charles Johnson by decision. Should be a fun one. And we close off the prelims with a fight I'm not looking forward to, because I think it's going to be ungodly shitty. We have Martin Buday versus Jake the Prototype Collier. Fuck. What a shitty fight. I think every fight I've talked about so far is better than this fight. Even Hailey Cowan. That should say too much if you really think about it. I don't know, I'm not looking forward to this fight, and I don't get why it's the featured prelim. But whatever. Let's talk about Martin Buday. Martin Buday in the UFC is 2-0, quote. His wins, Chris Barnett and Lucas Brzeski, even though he lost that Brzeski fight. He's okay. Like, he looked decent on Contender Series, but he's not been impressive in the UFC. Yeah, he destroyed Chris Barnett, but dude, he's like fucking 10 inches taller than Chris. Chris had to do some stupid, 5'9" versus 6'4". Like, Chris, and again, I love Chris Barnett, who doesn't? He's not that good. So, take that as you will, and then in his last fight against Brzeski, he lost. He looked terrible. Like, fucking Buday looked awful. And against a guy like Brzeski, who just got his ass handed to him by fucking Carl Williams, who, Carl Williams is good, but still, like, I'm not impressed with Buday. His 2 fucking wins in the UFC are against a guy who's, like, fucking, shouldn't even be fighting guys this tall, and a guy and he lost to the other guy. To a guy who's kind of shitty in Brzeski. So it's kind of like, what the fuck? Buday overall, he wants to just grind you out. He wants to get you against the cage, hit you flow shots, tire you out, and win a decision, or maybe finish you. Simple as that. He's not trying to do any extracurricular shit. He's not throwing super kick. He's not throwing head kicks or fucking leg kicks. He's not throwing crazy combinations. He's just doing what he has to do to pass by it and get a W, to glide into a decision. Which, yeah, of course, it makes sense, but I think that's kind of fucking lame. So, I don't know. I don't know. To talk about his opponent, Jake Collier, is not Collier. Jake in the UFC is 5-7. We'll just talk about his heavyweight run, not his first run. His first run in 2017. At heavyweight, he is 2-4. His 2 wins, John Vellante and Chase Sherman. His 4 losses, Tom Aspinall, Carlos Felipe, Andre Arlovski, and Chris Barnett. Really, I think he's 3-3. I think he beat Andre Arlovski, and a lot of people do. He won that fight. So really 3-3, and he's beating guys he should be beating. Vellante, Sherman, he should beat, and then Arlovski. That's a good win to have still. And the guy he's losing to, Tom Aspinall, come on. Carlos Felipe, yeah, that one's kind of great. And Chris Barnett, the only reason he did not win that fight is because Chris Barnett, he had no respect for Chris, and Chris Barnett just fucking really, he just has heart. So, Jake ain't bad. Like, that's on my, I'll say that right now, and it's weird to say that, but Jake Collier ain't really that bad. If he gets on top of you, you ain't getting up unless you're Chris Barnett. Striking wise, he's not great. His one problem is his gas tank. If he actually had a decent gas tank, he would probably win more fights. And he's not bad, which is weird. He's tough. You're not, unless your name's Tom Aspinall, you're not really finishing him easily. Like, even, like Chris Barnett had to go through hell and back to get the finish. So, I don't know. This is a weird fight to predict, and it's not an easy one either. Because you got a dude in Buday who I think's shitty and boring, and a guy in Collier who I think's shitty, but I think he might be the better fighter, to be honest. From what I've seen out of the two dudes, in their last 2 fights alone, I think Jake Collier's a better fighter. So, I don't know. The betting odds in this fight have Buday a small favorite at about -110 to +100. I get it. I'd probably have Buday a favorite here, probably about -120, 130. But can you actually trust him? If he doesn't have a good, if he wins this fight and doesn't have a good performance, he's trash. He's literally shitty. Like, he's just not good at all. It's weird how, like, not good he is. But then probably if he loses, he's probably cut, which I think is bullshit, because he did win that Arlovski fight. So I don't know. Where am I going in this fight? I've been torn on this fight, and I think I'm going Jake Collier. I have a feeling. I just have a bad, either good or bad feeling. I don't know. I'm leaning Collier. I think he's gonna be able to get the win here. I think the best thing that can happen, I feel, is he just gets up on the scorecards early, wins the first, has a close second, hopefully wins, and prays he can make it through the third. No 10-8, no knockout, just survived. Or he gets on top and finishes Buday, because if Collier gets on top, I really don't see Buday getting up. Maybe early in the fight, but let's say late in the first or in the second, I don't think Buday's going to be able to get up. So, overall, I'm going Jake Collier in this fight. I think he's going to pick up the win here. And I'm going by decision. I think, I have a feeling Jake's going to be able to get the win here. And I think it's the first time I've ever picked Jake Collier. No, I think I picked him against John Vellante. Did I? Like, cause I on purpose not pick Jake Collier because Jake Collier. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever picked Jake Collier. And the first time I've ever picked Charles Johnson. So either they're gonna bite me in the ass for the first time, or they're gonna fucking finally make me look good for picking him. So I'm going Jake Collier by decision. I think he is the better fighter, and if I can honestly say that, Buday's kind of shitty, dog, for real. So I'm going Jake Collier by decision. Decent prelims. I would have the featured prelim be the first prelim, and I would probably have fucking Edgar be the, I'd either have Johnson or Edgar be the featured prelim. That's just me. I know they would never do that, but I don't care about Buday and Collier. I think that's an awful fight, but maybe it's a banger. I doubt it. But now we move on to the main card, and yes, before you say the 5-fight prelims is very weird. I agree. But we move on to the main card, which we start off with Josh Bushido Quinlan versus Trey the Truth Waters. This was meant to be Josh Quinlan versus Angelosa, but Ange pulled out. Trey Waters steps in. let's talk about Josh Quinlan. Josh Quinlan in the UFC is 1-0, coming off Contender Series where he had his win overturned. So I think he popped for something, but clearly it wasn't that big, because if it was big, UFC would just cut him. And then in the UFC debut, he did exactly what he should have done to Jason Witt, and that's spin his chin around his goddamn head. Quinlan's good. He's super powerful. He's a very good technical striker. He's good. I think it's an interesting prospect. Yeah, him being 30 ain't great, but I think you can get by with that. He's not bad. I don't think he's bad. I honestly don't. And I think he's good. He's, again, for what is he, a lightweight? What weight class is he? I think he's a lightweight or welterweight. Welterweight. He's super powerful for welterweight. Like, just look what he did to fucking Jason Witt. The sound that punch made on Witt's chin is scary. And most of his wins are by fucking knockout. Like, in MMA, all his wins are, 4 of his wins are by knockout. 3 of them, or 2 of them being in the first. He's really tough. He's really powerful. And I think he's an interesting prospect. Yeah, I would like to see him get a step up in competition, hopefully after this fight, but let's see how he looks in this fight. But I'm high on Quinlan. I think he's good. But how does he fare in this fight against a guy who is clearly such a step up from Jason Witt, but not by much, I don't think. To talk about Trey Waters, I'm not going to say much, because I'm not going to lie to you. I've only seen one of his fights, and that was his Contender Series fight against Gabriel Bonfim, where he got submitted, which you're not even mad at. If I remember, he didn't look terrible in that fight, but how good can you really look against Gabriel Bonfim? It's Gabriel Bonfim. And then he went back to LFA, won their bout there. I heard he didn't have a good performance, so let that sink in. And that was only 2 weeks ago. So, and now he's in UFC, fighting Josh Quinlan on short notice, which is dangerous as fuck. Yeah, overall, I heard a couple good things about Trey, but I don't see him winning this fight, to be honest. If he is the passive fighter I've heard he is, then yeah, he's fucked. Because if he's gonna try and be a counter fighter or a passive fighter against Quinlan, he's getting knocked out. So, not much more to say. I think Trey is just cannon fodder to Josh in this fight, if I'm being honest. And the betting odds are actually shockingly small. Josh Quinlan's only minus 180 to plus 145. I would have Josh Quinlan minus 300 again. Dude should win this fight pretty easily. Trey is not good, and it's short notice, no less. And dude just had a fight. So, and this is a step down from Erosa. So, I'm going Josh Quinlan in this one, and in fact, he's my lock of the night. Yeah, this card's not easy for locks, but yeah, Josh, I think, is the better fighter by a good margin, and I think he's going to be able to get another knockout in this one. So, I'm going Josh Quinlan by knockout in the first. I think it's gonna be a good showing for Josh. Back in the Apex, get a win there, and hopefully. Sorry about that. I'm cleaning my fucking computer. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think Josh gets a win here by knockout in the first. So, back in the Apex, get a real win that's not overturned, and head home. On to the next fight. Josh Quinlan by knockout in the first. After that, another bad heavyweight fight I really am not looking forward to, but if the guy I want to win wins, then I'm really looking forward to it. As we have Waldo, Salsa Boy, Cortes-Acosta versus Marcos, Pezao, Rodrigo, de Lima. Not a better fight from Buday and Collier, but still not a good fight. Let's talk about Waldo, Cortes-Acosta, WCA. Waldo, I have the same shit to say about him as I did Buday. I'm not impressed by his fights. He is 2-0 in UFC also, and his 2 wins a way too close fight with Jared Vanderaa that Vanderaa probably won, and a beating. He gave Chase Sherman a ass beating, but he could not finish him. The dude's not a finisher. Yeah, he got to finish on Contender Series, but ever since then, he's been fucking shitty. He does not know what a leg kick check is. We've not seen his ground game, which I'll bring that up back in a little bit. And overall, yeah, his striking looked good against Chase Sherman, but that's Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman's dog shit. And against Jared, he probably lost that fight, and he made Jared Vanderaa look good. Think about how hard that is. He made Jared Vanderaa look good. There's a problem if you're making Jared Vanderaa look not like a complete joke. So, keep that in mind. I think Waldo has had potential. For some reason, since he made it to UFC, he lost. The guy we saw in Contender Series is not the same guy we see now. And unless he gets his head out of his fucking ass, he's gonna go down the same route as Buday, I think. He needs to wake the fuck up like Buday. Will they? We'll see. Do you talk about the Lima? What is there to be said that hasn't been said by everyone else? The dude's a good veteran, been around forever. 37 years old, 9-6 in UFC. I'll talk about his most recent fights, his last 4, because I think he's on a 4-fight winning streak. He completely laid on Maurice Green for 15 minutes. He ran through Ben Rothwell. He beat Blagoy Ivanov, I think. That was a robbery. And he completely ran through Andrei Arlovski. He's not beating bad fighters. Maurice Green, yeah, he's pretty shitty. But Ben Rothwell, in a striking match, he knocked him out. Blagoy, in a 15-minute fight overall, he was the better fighter. And Andrei Arlovski, he ran through. Which, again, a win over Arlovski is still pretty valuable, I think. It seems like he's getting better. He's a powerful fighter. His ground game's good. It seems like he's really coming into his own now at 37, which is weird. Of all guys to be coming into their own, is a guy who, going into the Green fight, or the Romanov fight, you would said they were just fucking, he was just a win-lose fighter, because his whole UFC career was win-lose. And now he's on a 4-fight winning streak, I think, and he's looking the best he ever has. So yeah, I'm happy for him. He's not trying to cut weight to light heavyweight anymore. He's just fighting at his own weight class, which is heavyweight, and it's working. His gas tank's the only bad thing about him, and besides that, he's good. It's weird to say Lima's actually good after seeing Romanov and all these losses he's taken. He's gotten better from them. At 37, he's hitting his peak, his fucking prime, it seems. So, yeah. The betting odds for this fight have Lima minus 140 to plus 115. I'm actually shocked by these odds, but I'm happy by them, because Lima, I think, should be the favorite. I'm happy that the odds makers see Waldo is overrated and not good. So yeah, I agree with those odds, and I do agree with who's the favorite, because I am going to Lima. I think one thing you gotta bring up, the one thing I worry about is, can Lima survive 15? Waldo does have a decent gas tank, I'll give him that much. But besides that, he really doesn't bring anything Lima hadn't seen before, and by better fighters. Okay striking, he's fucking fought better guys than that. And we've not seen Waldo go to the ground yet. I think if I'm Lima's team, or if I'm Lima, I'm trying to go to the ground. As shitty as that Green fight was, this fight needs to be like the Green fight. I think get on him, wear him down, lay on top, and win. As much as I don't want to see a boring fight like that, if it fucking exposes Waldo Cortes-Acosta, I'm okay with it, because Waldo ain't good. So, I'm going to Lima by decision here. I hope he just fucking does what he has to do to win. Maybe even knocks him out, because Lima's definitely the more powerful fighter. I hope he doesn't fight stupid, though. I hope he doesn't run out there fucking guns blazing like against Rothwell. Go in there, fight smart, throw leg kicks, win. Another problem I have, one other thing I worry, he is going to be a smaller fighter by 3 inches. in height and reach, so that's not great, but we'll work with it. I am going to Lima by decision. Knock off this fucking prospect who's not good. Come on, baby. Come on, De Lima. After that, we got 4 more main card fights, and we head to our next one, which is another debuting fighter. As we have Julian Juicy J Erosa versus Fernando Padilla. Let's talk about Juicy J. I'm not gonna go in depth on Juicy J, because if you don't know Juicy J by now, come on, where have you been? Julian is 6-6 in the UFC. We'll talk about his last. We'll talk about his last 6. And we'll talk about him since his UFC return. Since his return, he is 4-2. His wins: Sean Woodson, Nate Landwehr, Charles Jourdain, Steven Peterson, and Hakeem Dawodu. His 2 losses are Sung Hoo Choi and Alex Caceres. He has good wins. Sean Woodson, great guy to beat. Nate Landwehr, knocking him out, impressive. Subbing Jourdain, that fight of the year contender with Peterson, and he completely took Dawodu to school. And his 2 losses were knockouts. Sung Hoo Choi just caught him, and Alex Caceres just caught him. Yeah, I've seen people say Juicy J has a weak chin, which I get why you say that, but at the same time, if you look at A, the 2 guys who knocked him out, and B, the shots that did, are those shots that he got knocked out by weak? Dude, Alex Caceres was one of the most brutal but clean head kicks you'll ever see. And Sung Hoo Choi hits like a truck. And just caught him good. And he's been in wars with guys like Peterson and Landwehr, and he came out on top. He's good. We're not even talking about his wrestling or grappling, which is really good also. Juicy J is really good. The one bad thing about him, he always falls short right when he gets close to a big win, Caceres and Choi. And now they're giving him a huge step down competition, which is kind of disrespectful. And this is not a short notice fight. So, Juicy J is really good. I feel like the weak chin thing's kind of silly, because the 2 dudes to knock him out recently were good fighters and, good shots that hit him. And again, look at the shots that he got hit by. They were powerful. How many guys were going to be able to take those shots? Let's be honest now. Let's just be honest. So, and to not talk about Fernando Padilla, I've never seen this dude a day in my life, and I've not heard much good about him. All I've heard is Spike Carlisle destroyed him on the ground, and he pretty much fights a lot like Erosa. He's just a brawler, which is not a great thing, but still. The betting odds for this fight have Juicy J minus 190 to plus 160. I agree. I'd have Julian minus 200 plus higher, whatever. He should win this fight. They're giving him a huge step down in competition for some reason, and he should win this fight. He is the better fighter, probably, and he is good. And do I think he's back a little too quick after that Caceres knockout? Yes. Only 2 months ago. Is kind of way too soon to be back after a knockout that brutal. But overall, it was definitely not 2 months ago, because it was in December 2022, but still, that's the only thing I do worry about. How is his chin after that knockout so quickly coming back? So, overall, I am going Juicy J in this one. I think he will pick up the win. I think he just gets a decision. I think he might be able to sub Fernando, but I think he's just going to, might be a striking match early, but I think he's going to get to the ground in the second and third and win. A lot like the Dawodu fight, just get to the ground and do what he does. So I'm going Juicy J by decision. After that, we head up to middleweight for a fight I'm not looking forward to, because I think it's a very low-level fight. As we have Cody Brundage versus Rodolfo, the black belt hunter Vieira. Not a great fight at all. Let's talk about Cody Brundage. Cody in the UFC is 2-2. His 2 wins are Dolce Lungambula and Tresean Gore. His 2 losses are Nick Maximov and Michał Oleksiejczuk. His 2 wins are not bad. I think Dolce's garbage, and Tresean Gore, I guess that win is aging better, but I just don't think Gore's that good. So he's beating guys he probably should be beating. And actually not true, because he should beat guys like Maximov and Oleksiejczuk. But yeah, Maximov was a short nose fight, and he actually he won the 3rd round, Brundage. So he did show good things in that fight. And then he comes back, wins 2 in a row against pretty weak competition, and then fights Oleksiejczuk and gets his ass handed to him pretty badly. You can see it's not very good. Yes, he has 2 wins in the UFC, and he gave Maximov a fight. But again, Tresean Gore, Dolce, and Maximov are garbage, and even Oleksiejczuk's pretty bad, and he looked phenomenal versus Brundage. So we'll let that sink in. Simple as this, Brundage ain't very good, and he fights the same every fight. He's just gonna shoot on you. His striking ain't much to write home about. He's just gonna shoot. Nothing more to really say there. Speaking of guys who are just gonna shoot, Rodolfo Vieira. No gas tank himself. In the UFC, he is 3-2. His 3 wins: Sarbag Safarov, Dustin Stoltzfus, and Oscar Pichota. His 2 losses are Anthony Hernandez and Chris Curtis. It comes down to this: if he can get you to the ground, he's gonna win. If it's on the feet, you're gonna beat him. Hernandez was able to survive Rodolfo's ground game long enough to gas him out and get the win. And then Chris Curtis, for as shitty as Curtis is, he is still good enough to beat Rodolfo Vieira. And then for his 3 wins, he beat 3 awful fighters. So pretty much you got 1 round of actually scary fighting Rodolfo, and then when it hits round 2, you're kinda in the clear. Yes, I know he got a round 3 submission, but Dustin Stoltzfus. The one problem I have picking Rodolfo is he has to get the finish in the first, because he will not be. I don't think he'll be able to pass the first. I just don't think so. Simple as that. The betting for this fight, I have Rodolfo minus 280 to plus 230. I disagree. I think Rodolfo should be the favorite, but not by 280. Can you trust him? I would have Rodolfo minus 135, 140. He should be the favorite, but not huge. I can't trust him. I can't. If he doesn't get the submission in the first, I'm sweating bullets. Like he is. Literally. He needs to finish in the first, or he's probably gonna lose. Cody might be shitty, but he has a gas tank. He has a gas tank. So, who am I going with in this fight? I'm going with Rodolfo Vieira. I think he'll be able to catch Cody, because Cody is probably going to try and shoot on him for some reason, and I think Rodolfo is going to be able to catch him in a guillotine or something and get the win. So I am going with Rodolfo Vieira by submission in the first. I think he'll be able to catch Cody and get the win, hopefully, because if not in the first, if the second round one ends, I'm sweating bullets. So I'm going Rodolfo Vieira by submission in the first. Don't gas, motherfucker. After that, we hit our co-main event of the evening. An okay fight between Caio, the natural Borralho, versus Michał Oleksiejczuk, speak of the devil. Let's talk about Caio Borralho. Not gonna lie, I like Caio, but he's a decision machine. He's 3-0 in the UFC, and all 3 of his wins are by decision. In his debut, as an underdog, he destroyed Gadziev. And then after that, he destroyed Armen Petrosyan. He just out-grappled. And then in his last fight, he had, from what I remember, and I thought it was an underwhelming performance against Makhmudmuradov, but he did pick up the win. Yeah, he's just trying to get you to the ground and keep you there until the decision. Yes, he tries to get the submission, quote, but he never gets it. And overall, he's a decision machine. He's really good, but he's a decision machine. So, at least he has a 3-round gas tank, which is something to definitely be happy to see by a good prospect like Caio. But, and not like he's beating good guys. Godzi is awful, Armen Petrosyan ain't good, and Makhmudmuradov is a failed prospect himself. So, one good thing I will say, his first contender series win was actually a pretty good one, beating Aaron Jeffrey, a dude who's pretty good. So, you can't really get mad at that. Yeah, and if I'm correct, Aaron Jeffrey has went on to do pretty good things in Bellator. Yeah, he's a guy who knocked out fucking Vanderfort. Yeah, so that's a really good one. It's kind of funny that his best win is his contender series win. But yeah, Kyle's good. He just needs to get finishes, because right now I'm calling him a decision machine. So, great prospect, and if he wins this, he has to get a ranked fight, but gotta get finished eventually. To talk about his opponent again, in a way, Michał Oleksiejczuk. Yeah, like I said in the last fight, I think he's kind of shitty. I don't think he's very good. He is 6-3 in the UFC. Since his move up to middleweight, he has won 2-0, beating Sam Alvey and Cody Brundage. How good are those wins, really? And before that, at light heavyweight, he was way too small for the weight class, and the only guys he were beating were shitty fighters like John Vellante and Bukauskas. Besides that, he was losing to guys like OSP, Jimmy Crew, and Dustin Jacoby. So, I never saw much of Oleksiejczuk. Yes, he's on a nice tear, but against Sam Alvey and Cody Brundage, a tear is kind of being nice. I don't think he's that good. And if he wins this, I take back everything I said. But until he actually beats a decent fighter, I'm not saying much. His best win is Mateusz Bukauskas. Come on. And I don't even know his way of winning this fight, to be honest. What, knockout? He's not gonna knock out Caio Borralho. He's not gonna he's kind of fucked. He's not knocking out Caio, and he's not gonna out-wrestle Caio. He better pray for stupid judging, or he's losing this fight. I don't see him winning this fight. So, the betting odds agree. Caio Borralho -300 to +240. Yeah, I would have to move Caio up even higher. I would have him fucking like -400 or 500. He should win this fight easily. Like, I think he's a way better fighter, and I really don't see Oleksiejczuk's way of winning. He's definitely not the stronger dude. He's a smaller dude, and he's the shittier wrestler, and he's not gonna knock out Caio. So I'm going Caio Borralho by decision. I think he just has another dominant performance like the Armen and Godzi fight. So I'm going Caio Borralho by decision. And now for our main event of the evening, which was meant to happen 1 week ago as a co-main event, but it got kicked up here because Money Moicano got injured and no one wanted to fight Trasukian. So now we have this as our main event, which is Song Kung Fu Kid Yadong versus Ricky Simón. Great fight. I don't know how I feel about it as a main event, but it's a great fight overall, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to go in depth on these two much, but since this is kind of not a casual friendly main event, I will. To talk about Song Yadong a little bit, he is 8-2-1 in the UFC, and his only two losses are fucking Kyler Phillips and Corey Sandhagen, even though I think he lost the Cheeto fight, but still, his only losses are fucking Cheeto, in my opinion, and many's, Kyler Phillips, and Corey Sandhagen. Besides that, he's beat guys like fucking Casey Kenny, Julio Arce, Marlon Moraes. Dude's Dude, I'll say right now, like, the future top 10 dude, no question, or top 5 dude, no questions asked. He is stupid good, and he's only 25 years old, and I'm already saying he's easily a top 5 dude in the near future. Amazing striker, and just all around, and just really good. He gave guys like Kyler and Corey fights. Hell, he gave Corey a fight. And without that cut, I don't remember. Actually, I want to look at the scorecards for that fight real quick. Sorry if that's loud. Yeah, sorry if that's loud, but I want to look at the scorecards for the Corey Yadong fight. 'Cause if I'm correct, it could have been 2-2. Let's see because the only reason that fight got stopped because of a cut. Let's see. Hold on. It fucking 2 judges had it 2-2 going into the 5th, and only one though. And those Song Yadong was going into round 5, and it was fucking 2-2 for 2 judges against Corey Sandhagen, who just had a great performance against fucking Marlon Vieira. So let that thing. Song Yadong is stupid good. All I gotta say. To talk about Ricky Simón, yeah, Ricky's really good too, but I feel like he's getting a little overhyped now. Like Ricky's good, but I think people are pushing it. He's also 8-2 in the UFC, and he's on a nice 5-fight winning streak, but I feel like his last win were really getting people to overhype him. And to talk about the 5-fight winning streak, it's Ray Borg, Gustavo Borralho, Brian Kelleher, Rafael Assunção, and Jack Shore. That Shore win, I swear, is making people suck his dick way too much. Yes, he destroyed Jack Shore and took his L. But how good is Jack Shore really? The dude has no striking. I like Jack Shore, but how good is Jack really? I think that... And oh, my bad, he knocked out Assunção, who hasn't. And yes, in his debut, he subbed Merab, but that was fucking 2018. Come on, move on. Like, hell, I don't like Merab at all, but Merab is not the same fighter he was now as he was in 2018. He's a way better fighter. And a fight that I think people should really talk about some more. What the fuck was that Faber fight for Simón? Why did he get starched in 46 seconds by Uriah Faber? A 40-year-old Faber coming off retirement. I don't get it. It's the weirdest shit ever. Like, I don't know. I think Ricky's good, but I think Ricky's hit his ceiling, and I think this fight's gonna show that he's really good, but he's like a... I'm trying to think who's a good comparison from. He's like a... Drew Dober has come to mind. A guy who should be ranked and is really good, but I think he's hit his ceiling. I think he's a good gatekeeper. I think he's an amazing gatekeeper. But I don't think he's a champion level guy. I don't think he's a top 5 level guy. And even if he wins this fight, how do you really see him doing against Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Vera, Sean O'Malley, Merab in a rematch, Piotr, fucking, even guys like fucking, even lower ranked guys? How does he do against guys like Giannis Gutierrez and Umar? So I think Ricky's really good. I'm not disrespecting Ricky. I think he's really good. But I think people go a little bit too high on him now. Like, the fact that he's a favorite against Song Yadong is fucking mental. Dude, Song should be the favorite in this fight. He's the better fighter, and if it's because, oh, he's coming off a loss against Corey Sandhagen, oh, Ricky destroyed Jack Shore, and I like Ricky, but Song should be the favorite in this fight, and he should win this fight. I feel people are way too high on Ricky. Maybe I'm wrong. If he goes out there and destroys Song, fine, I am a dumbass. It's just, but I don't see that happening, to be honest with you. So, maybe that's just me. I don't see that. So, and I'm going with the underdog here. I'm going Song Yadong. I think Song is the better fighter, and I think Song has not even hit his fucking prime yet. What's that thinking? But I am going Song Yadong to win this fight. I'm not going by if it was a 3-rounder, I'd probably say decision, but I think Song's gonna get him. Just when? I'm going. I feel round 3 knockout. I don't know why. I just, for some reason, something's telling me round 3 knockout. I don't know why. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm going Song Yadong by knockout in the 3rd. I don't know why. Just something's telling me Song Yadong knockout in the 3rd. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be a 1st. It's not gonna be a 4th or 5th. It's gonna be 2nd or 3rd. And for some reason, something's telling me 3rd. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm going in the 3rd. I feel better. So, I'm going Song Yadong by knockout in the 3rd. I'm excited for this fight. I think it's gonna answer a lot of bantamweight questions people have wanted answered. So, yeah. So those are my picks and breakdowns. To go over my breakdowns. To go over my picks one more time. That's what I wanted to say. Here we go. Jamey-Lyn Horth by decision. Marcus McGhee by knockout in the 1st. Irina Alekseeva by submission in the 1st. Charles Johnson by decision. Jake Collier by decision. Josh Quinlan lock of the night by knockout in the 1st. Marcos Rodriguez de Lima by decision. Julian Erosa by decision. Rodolfo Vieira by submission in the 1st. Caio Borralho by decision. And Song Yadong by knockout in the 3rd. I don't know why 3rd, just something's telling me it's 3rd. So I'm gonna go with what I feel. I'm doing that a lot on this card with Irene, Green, etc. So I think this is a decent card. Outside of the 2 shitty heavyweight fights and the Cody Brundage fight, I think this is a good card. So I'm excited, and yeah, last fight night before 288, and last fight night in the Apex for a minute, because I think we go to Charlotte after 288, and then maybe we're back in the Apex then, but we'll talk about that at a different time. So next time I will be talking to you will be a recap Sunday 1 p.m. EST of this card, Vegas 72. So yeah, let's enjoy this card. I hope you enjoy the video. Tell me your picks down below, or anything like that, bets, picks, whatever. And unless I'm forgetting to say something, like, comment, sub, 100 subs go by at the end of the year. And as always, RX out. Song Yadong. I don't know.